Wow, so peaceful out here. It's really nice by the river. Well, this update's a little late, and this is really fresh. Yeah, we've been a little bit busy. Been really busy this past week. It's been crazy. Yeah, probably a little bit quiet in this video because Chloe flew out today. So she flew back to Italy, and she planned to go back there for quite a while. And it's been a couple of years since she's been home to see her family and friends. And yeah, she normally goes back every summer, or we both try and get back there every summer. So anyway, she headed off today, and we're at a stage where I can handle the boat and what needs to be done now on my own. We're pretty much there. And so I've just got the copper coat to do, and then really just run some wires, connect a few pipes, the electronics, and then yeah, launch the boat. We're going to put the rig in it, and we'll do some basic sea trials. But still, we're a few weeks away. I'd say we're a good, you know, I don't want to press the time, but we've got to get the shaft in. The engine's gone in, and yeah, we've really cracked on and done a lot this last week. So I'll get up there and walk you through everything that we've done. But we're just so stoked with the way the boat's come up and how everything's going. It's super, super cool. I've, yeah, just bonded the exhaust flap on 2 days ago. I'll leave that there for a few days to let it go off. I just used some fixed tech on that. I didn't want to put screws into it, and so I just fixed teched it on. We also got the board in, which has been really cool, and all of these little paint spots have been blended in. Yeah, but the board came in the other day. I had to do a fair bit of work. I had to put it in and out about 3 or 4 times, and yeah, play around with it a bit, and I'll probably sand a little bit more off the edge. It's a pretty tight fit, but it's in there and it's working, so we're pretty stoked about that. You can see we've given the shed a huge clean up. We've cleaned everything out. We've got all our boxes out, put them on board. We spent a few days here going through everything and throwing out a heap of stuff, and really dwindling down the necessities and the things that we want to keep on board the boat. We were carrying a lot of things back from Costa Rica as spares, because we weren't sure how reliable things were on the boat and whether we were going to need them. So now that we're here and we've refitted and maintained and done a lot of work to everything, we feel like there's a lot of stuff that we can get rid of. We've put all the epoxy and the painting gear over here on the table. We've just consolidated everything a bit, and then just reduced everything down that we had and put it on this one table. Got the esky and our fins there and just a few things, but it's really nice to have the shed tidy and clean. Yeah, having a clean working environment is really nice. So the plan is the next 3 weeks to do the copper coat, and then to get the engine connected. Hopefully by the middle of July we'll be ready to go out of the shed. When we come out of the shed, we'll stick the rudder in, and then we'll probably sit out there for a couple of weeks, but I'm not sure. We may change our mind. We may just stay in the shed, or we may launch a bit early. We'll see how we go. Anyway, let's have a look at what's been going on up here. It's crazy. We are just so stoked. Have a look at the non-skid. Yeah, boat looks awesome. A little bit of paint. But yeah, the non-skid is just unreal. And have a look at the donut here. The friction ring. It's like a little work of art. It's really nice. And Chloe taped around here really nice. Danny sprayed all this and it's come up really nice. Super happy. And check out that non-skid. Windows are done. Deck gear's on. Engine's in. Electrics are there. The bank of clutches or jammers. You can see how to make that solid base for them to sit on. Really solid through here. Super stoked with the way that's come up. So cool. And then we've got new winches I said there was some surprises. That's the surprises. Yeah, we ended up going for some new winches. Main reason is we're really opting for reliability and simplicity. And the materials used in these winches are a lot better. The modern winches are far better when it comes to maintenance. You get a lot less dissimilar metals, and makes them a lot easier to maintain. They pull apart a lot easier, and those two are electric. So I want to make it as easy as possible for when we sail the boat, whether that's with Chloe or if I'm single-handed or with my mum and dad. I want it to be really simple to sail this boat. You know, it takes quite a while to prepare the boat and it's a lot of hard physical work. So the easier that we can make it to sail this boat, the more enjoyable it is and the more we'll do it. And yeah, and that's the aim of the game here. Got the organisers on the back. You can see these are huge. These are Antels. They're massive. Still a bit of sand around the boat. I've got to blow that off from when we did the beams a couple of days ago. But yeah, these have come up really nice. Super happy with them. Got the hatchback in here. You see the windows have been coved. They come up really nice. Super nice. Yeah, boat's just another level compared to what she was. At the end of the refit, I'll do a before and after video. Installed the port here for the hose. It just goes in and connects, and then I'll put a rope loop or something on the carbon post, maybe even just back here. I'll have a rope loop and the shower head will hang there. Have a little shower head. Put the name back on the other day and gave the hinge a polish and installed it. And then under here we've got the foot blocks, the turning blocks for the steering. And fixed the rudder feedback unit, the RFU. So, yeah, you can see she's nearly complete. Back cabins together. Chloe made the bed before she left. Has been made. So the bed's in, bed's been made. Chloe went through and cleaned the boat like crazy. She spent days in here cleaning. Get rid of all the dust with buckets of fresh water and rags and just wiping, vacuuming and wiping over and over again. We've got a new toilet lid in. So it's probably a bit dark in here, but that's a new, so it looks really nice. Everything looks really nice. The boat's just come up so well. We haven't painted this cabin, but I got some really nice flooring here. This is this Comcork. A friend of mine is a supplier here, and this stuff is awesome. Really nice, natural cork flooring. And it's really good on your feet. They use it a lot in, I believe, public transport. You'll see it a lot on the jetties. And it cleans really well. And it's a really nice on your feet and good grip, and it just lasts forever. So I'll end up putting those down. It gives a nice texture. So if there's a bit of salt water or splash down the companionway here and you come in and you don't turn around like I just did, I came down face first, and your heels hopefully will prevent your heels slipping off the steps. But yeah, you can see all our gears in, which is really nice. Got the B&Gs in. These are the two FFDs and then the plotter. And then the engine here. And what we like about the engine is that if there's an alarm, it's right in front of you. You can hear it and you can see it a lot better than when it's hidden away in a corner somewhere or inside on a bulkhead. So I really like that. And yeah, cushions are in. The interior is just about back to normal. Chloe has put all her containers out and named everything. She has just put on the names with tape for the moment. And once we've lived on the boat for a few months and we know that everything's okay, she'll probably write them on top. But she did a lot of research with what she got. I'll just explain a few things. These are, you know, we try not to have plastic as much as we can. Obviously, you can't, you know, do away totally with plastics. And so we opt when we can, and we did this on Little Spirit. We had really high quality glass jars, and that's what these are. She got them from a place called Kitchen Pro in Australia. They're really nice. And they're super lightweight. And it's nice because you can just look in them and you can sort of see what's in each container. And they look nice and they fit really well. So she's super stoked with that. And I am too. It looks awesome. And then we got some new plates. And these are pretty heavy. But we just don't want to eat off plastic. You know, I think we want to have plastics kept to a minimal on board the boat. So, yeah, we've got some crockery. And we'll just see how that goes. You know, it's always a danger, but we're both pretty careful. And, you know, we've spent our life living on boats, so we'll see how it goes anyway. But looking really nice, huh? Yeah, this has worked out really well. Where I store all the tools now. Super cool. And under the floor here, I'll give you a look. Yeah, I've just installed a mount. That's a bit of foam. For the water pump. Got a new water pump down there. Opted for a Johnston self-priming 24 volt. Yeah, diaphragm pump. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll be a bit quieter than the old one. And then you got the water maker down there. And we've run all the lines. We've got this water grade, drinking water grade hose, braided hose. And that's something that's really nice about doing this refit here on the Gold Coast, is that you've got really good suppliers at close hand. You know, there's a really good pipe shop where they sell every fitting, valve, hose clamp, and bit of hose that you can imagine. There's a bolt shop up the road, and there's a really great chandlery here at Boatworks itself. But yeah, look at the windows. Oh man, it's just so cool. Got all the books out. Chloe's got all the books. She's done such a nice job. Also got a fresh kombucha going there in the corner with a new SCOBY, which is super cool. And yeah, you can just see everything's coming together really nice now, just as we sort of imagined it. It's even better than we imagined. There's so much more space in here now. I wish everyone could come and see this, because there's way more room in the boat. It just feels really big. I'm sure the colour makes a difference, but also that cabin being pushed out 400 has made a huge difference, and so much more light now with all the windows. It's just super cool. Yeah, look, if anyone's ever near us, just give us a holler and come say hi. We've had a few people come down and say hi, and it's been really nice. It's really nice to meet people and, yeah, share time with those that love boats. And you can see here I've fitted the donut, and outside that we've fitted a little guide for the organiser up forward. I'll go out and show you that in a minute. But yeah, that's come up super nice and really minimal. And you can see the one, that's the backing here. That's the one fitted for the board up and down. So you can see the board up and down lines fitted. And then we've just got a block there, runs through that into any of the winches. That's how we get the board up and down. And yeah, super minimal. These are the wires coming out. I'm going to hide them. I've got like this bit of conduit here. So I'll eventually run that down the wall, and we'll have cushions here, and there'll be a rope bag with probably binoculars or an iPad in it that'll hide it. And, you know, we'll have other stuff on the walls here for sure. Little rope bags with, you know, wires and phones and stuff. Yeah, that wider companionway is amazing. And, yeah, up forward, this is something from Little Spirit that I got in Tonga years ago. Yeah, the bill from a swordfish. And yeah, got all the cushions up here. And these are just some bits that I've got to fit. And yeah, just some stuff that we've got to still fit. Not a lot. Forward head, you can see nice new lid on the toilet. Just got to plumb all of this. And in here I'm going to stick a little wireless remote that I got. These are really cool. I don't know if people have seen, is it this one? No, it's not that one. Where is it? Maybe it's here. Is that it? Yeah, this is like a little wireless remote that we got for the anchor winch. It was only $100, and yeah, for Lone Star Marine. Yeah, super simple. This little wireless adapter just plugs in here. In here is the solenoid, and majority of winches are the same. But yeah, there's your solenoid, and you just plug that into the power and into the activation, and then that connects wirelessly to the remotes. So yeah, instead of spending like $1,400 on the Maxwell one or Muir, this is like $100. Yeah, so Lone Star, very cool. Anyway, we'll see how it works. But that's something that we really like to have, you know, the ability to walk up and down the foredeck and control the anchor winch. And yeah, so the winch is in, the motor's in. I've just got to wire it, just got to connect it. And that's come up really nice. Like the access to the wires is fantastic. They're right there, really easy to connect. It's shorter. I've shortened that wire run by about 2 meters. So that's really nice as well, because there'll be less resistance. And the motor should get a higher voltage with less voltage drop, which is always a plus. But yeah, just have a look. How nice is this head? I've got to put the little sump pump down there and plumb it. But yeah, just so different to how the boat was. And these floors are just awesome to walk on. Yeah, got the new plate in here. Remember, this was an old stainless thing and there was rust everywhere. It was really horrible. Anyway, this is a new plate, and that's with the friction. Oh, the rope loop, sorry. And on the other side, we're using a block for the centerboard. You can see we've got a lot of protection around the boat. This is something we're pretty full on about. And, you know, you've done so much work to get the boat looking nice and to do everything. So we always really like to work off a towel. I'll never take tools try to never take tools and work directly on the floor or anywhere on the deck. Always try and take a towel. But you can see we also use soft bags. You know, I never have hard tool bags. These store really well. You tend to get, they slide and move less. You can jam them in, you know, being a little bit soft. And then the other thing that's really nice is if you put them down or you bump up against something, you're not going to damage the paint, or if you've got varnished interior surfaces, you're not going to knock them about. So it's really nice to have soft stuff. And we also do it, we try not to wear, you know, jeans with studs and that on them. Just little things to try and look after the boat, because the majority of the damage that's done to the boat is done by the crew. You know, the elements a little bit, but the majority of the scratching and the damage is, by the crew and those aboard. So just try and minimise it. But man, like, have a look. Seriously, the boat looks so cool. She looks so cool. Yeah, here's the forward organisers. They're massive, but you know, deck organisers, unless they have a good, unless they have a good bearing in them, and they need to be really high load. So these are, I think, over a couple of 1,000 kilo, which is really nice. And then we've got these friction organisers here. I don't know if you can see them. I'll undo where are we? Yeah, they're a Harkin, like a friction organiser. And they're really just a guide to keep the ropes organised and just stop them chafing on the cabin side. So the lines will come down the side and then through the bank of jammers. We've got to put the hatches on as well. But yeah, have a look at the foredeck. Foredeck came up a little bit patchy with the paint. I'm not like 100% happy with it. Like, it looks awesome, but there's a few spots where it's a little bit more glossy, where I really struggled. I was out there on a plank, and it was really difficult. And I put probably a little bit more paint on a few areas than others. So there's a couple of areas where it's a little bit more glossy. But anyway, it's come up really well. And the windlass too, looks really cool. So that's going to make it really easy to work any halyards or lines from the mast if you need a secondary winch. And then of course you'll have the remote. So yeah, it should work really well. Oh yeah, here it is here. Look at those windows. All right, let's have a look down the engine room, eh? Give me a second, I've got to put the phone down. All right. So, yeah, we got a franner in on Friday morning. They came in, they had quite a long reach. They picked the engine up from down below here and then hoisted it up and jibbed out. And then they just lowered it down. I jumped down there, and then Chloe and the guy from the franner, who was awesome, top guy, I have to say. They're real pros, really good guys. Yeah, they just lowered it down. We had to twist it around and move it a little bit, but it went straight down there, super easy. And then, yeah, I just got them to disconnect. I had a couple of planks of wood down there and just sat it on that. Got them to disconnect. And then I rigged a Dyneema line, a strop. I'll show you from where. Yeah, I worked a Dyneema strop from here. These are 2 bolts, and I've lashed around them, and I've just hitched around them, and it works really well. It gives me a little point to lift the engine off, and the engine's only 200 kilos, so it's not that crazy heavy. Yeah, so I put a couple of blocks here and then make a strop across the engine, across the lifting points. And then up, I went off the port side. I went off a block here, attached to the steering foot block. And then I dog boned another block here, and then we went from there, dog boned another block here, and then we went up to the winch. And that allowed us just to pick the engine up from here where we are and then shimmy it forward. And then, yeah, we just got it onto the engine mounts. It needs to be aligned. We've got the guys coming in next week or the week after to align it. And put the new shaft in and the new bearings, which is pretty cool. That'll be awesome. And it'll be a direct drive this time. There used to be a thrust bearing here with like a CV, like a universal joint. And or aqua drive, whatever you want to call them, and just help with the alignment. But there was really no need to have it, the guys were saying, and it was really heavy. That whole system added probably over 20 kilos to the bike, so now it'll just be a direct shaft all the way through to the gearbox. And that should reduce any vibration and noise, hopefully, of that bearing. You can see we've got the sea strainer in and all plumbed. I plumbed all of that, and I plumbed the water maker before the engine came in. But I have to say, these side panels that I've put up and down the side of the engine have made a huge difference. Like, I can walk up and down the side now, and and really, it probably doesn't look like it, but I've got a lot more space between the engine instead of being jammed down lower beside the engine with your feet in like this V, which really hurt your feet and your ankles. We've now got this flat platform up and down the engine bed, and it means I can put tools here. I don't have to, they're much easier to get. They sit flat, and it's just a much nicer space to work in the engine room.
It would go off. Power on and power off.
Chewing through belts.
I don't know if he
by the looks.
or what he did.
Oil pumps is alright.
I mean, she's not that bad. I like to back her in because it's easier to get her off. So we just come in.
Water maker looks fucked.
Throw a line.
The steering.
And then slow down way out here. Throw a line through the dock.
It looks good. Looks like a brand bull motor alternator.
Especially if there's wind like this, she'll head down the alleyway as fast as she can.
So you were saying that your dad is a Trimaran?
Yeah.
Okay. And where it was in New Zealand?
North.
This is
The island.
bulkhead. Main cross beam.
How big?
34 foot, I think. So similar size to Spirit.
Yeah, livable.
Yeah. Bit of love.
Oh, so you must like the cold or handle it good.
The cold?
Cold weather, huh?
It's okay for me.
It's okay,
I have enough.
So I'm going to replace the fuel lines. I'll just explain what we got down here. So you can see this is our through hull, our only through hull. We've got the bilge pump there. The bilge pump runs up and then it runs over and out through the chamfer panel, the top of the chamfer panel. So we don't need to have like a siphon brake or anything in it, it just pumps directly overboard. And it runs out and around, and then this pipe or this line goes in through a filter, comes through here, through this filter, and then that comes back around into the top of the low pressure pump. And then the low pressure pump goes up and through a 5 and then a 20 micron filter. And then it goes to the water maker. This is a supply line here to the high pressure pump. And this one here, this is the pressure gauge. So this tells you how much pressure is on the suction side of the pump. So you can see when you've got blocked filters, which is really good. Got the header tank in for the engine. And just got to do a little bit of wiring down here. But you can see there's a lot less wiring. There used to be a heap of wiring that used to run across the back there. I'm going to try and run that across the back of the seating and under the floor on the interior, because it'll be a shorter wire run. And it'll just be more direct and a lot better. You can see the freshwater hoses coming in here. This one here is, this goes here to a valve. So that's a freshwater flush. So if we ever want a freshwater flush, we can from the boat's own system. And then that goes up to a T-piece up the top there, and then that connects to a hose that goes forward to the galley, or the hose that goes aft to the aft cabin and then goes aft to the shower, the aft shower. And then the other two, one's a saltwater and one's a freshwater foot pump, the supply lines. For both of those in the galley. Yeah, but you see I moved the sea strainer up here. It used to be at that end of the engine, but it's really nice to have it here so I can always see the condition of it. And you can always see as soon as you get in the engine room that the engine's getting water or not. And that's awesome. There's nothing better than a visual confirmation of what's going on. And that's great. We're going to keep 2 boxes under the seats. This one's going to have like emergency bilge pump and like a foot pump for the dinghy and just a few things that we use often. Maybe a sponge, some cleaning gear. This one over here has all the stuff for cleaning the hull. So all the sanding pads, the foam sanding pads. Some Morning Fresh there to clean our snorkel masks with to stop them fogging up. Fishing lines, not that we fish. And masks and snorkel gear. So that's how we're going to keep that organised. And then in here under this seat will be some oils and some basics like before, the 2 gas tanks. But yeah, wow, guys, can you believe this? It's just really hard to believe how much the boat's changed and so quickly. We feel so lucky. And just to have such an awesome boat. It's really nice to put time and energy into something that, you really believe in. And, the boat's just sweet. Just cannot wait to get on the water and get sailing. New rig will be on board middle of July. I'll talk about that more as the time comes and why we chose to go the route we did and, how that's all panning out. We had a really good guy on board, Simon, last week from Fix Tech, and they're supplying all the materials to bond down, pretty much to do all the bonding that we're doing, all the sealing and bonding. This is their 200, the acrylic and polycarbonate. It's a window, flexible window adhesive sealant. And that's the one that takes 7 days to set and that you've got to keep out of the sun while it sets. Really good material. And yeah, he's awesome. Really a wealth of knowledge. We were asking about the cover for the centerboard. Just asking him what, we want to be able to remove it in the future because we had to destroy the old one. And so we want to know what we can bond this down with, and at the same time, if we ever have any problems with the lines, because there is a history of these lines getting jammed between the board. The way that the board is in the case, the lines want to slide down off the top. So what they've done is created a little fairing that comes down and nearly touches the head of the board, and that sort of keeps the lines in the middle. And I think as long as you keep load on the lines when you're lifting the board up and down, I'm not sure that you have problems. Anyway, it worked really well for us on the way back to Australia, but we only really had a board down line. The board up line wasn't connected, which we didn't realise until we got the boat out of the water. And anyway, for this Fix Tech job, he suggested that we run a bead around it. With the 15, I think it is. It's this stuff here. Yeah, no, that's the 190. Yeah, Fix 15. He suggested we use this, and we run a bead around it, and we let it set for about 20 to 30 minutes so it skins off, and then we just drop that in on it so that it creates like a it creates virtually like a gasket, but because it had skinned off, it shouldn't stick to the bottom of this. And we may put a little bit of wax on the bottom of this as well. And then, create like a gasket that way. And then after about 24 hours, 48 hours, then screw it down. But, it sounds like it could work. And then what we'll do is we'll test it with a fire hose. Yeah, we'll get a fire hose and stick in the case underneath and just see if we get any water through. But yeah, that's something that's really trial and error, when you've never had the boat, and it was held down before with 5200, and that's why we had to destroy it to get it up, and that was a real pain. But we've got a much better one now, and we've put a lot of energy into making it. I think it was over 30 layers of double bias. And probably, 5 or 6 litres of resin. Anyway, that'll be something that we'll see how it works. But we'll do our best to seal it and to do a good job. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the update. I have to apologise because they're going to go downhill a little bit. It's just me on my own here now, whereas Chloe was doing all the videoing and all the editing before, and she does an amazing job. Whereas now you're probably just going to get a really raw, unedited version of me walking around the boat talking about what we've done. So I apologise for that because it's probably nowhere near as entertaining. But I'm here on my own and I don't really have the time to sit and edit. Or film. Chloe put a lot of time into sort of setting up a camera if someone would be doing a job, and she put the camera there and she did an amazing job. But that'll probably go downhill a bit. So, sorry about that. Anyway, everyone, I hope you're all having an awesome weekend. And as always, we send you all our best wishes. We thank you very much for all the comments that you send us. And we're really glad that people are enjoying the refit of the boat and seeing the boat come back to life. Over the next few weeks, you're going to really see it unfold. Everything will come off. I'll clean the boat up, get everything wired, and, get the bottom of the boat done. That's what we're going to concentrate on now. But we haven't really concentrated anything on the paint on the top sides. So, we got old paint here and new paint there, and, on the side of the floats, it's all, old paint, and the sponge and the paint's falling off, and, we just haven't got the well, the time and the energy to paint the boat at the same time. You know, this has always been about getting the structure right, about just making sure that the structure of the boat was sound and that all the equipment and the items that are on board were functioning and really reliable. The way the boat looks is cosmetic. It's not important to us at the moment. So maybe in a few years when we get to Thailand, we'll haul the boat out and paint it. But yeah, for the moment, we're not going to worry about it. She looks fantastic. And yeah, she's just such a cool boat. And how's that back deck area?
Give him some love to the back area.
You to hold that up.
Yep.
And then you can give me the vacuum, I can put it on there.
Oh, it just blows me away how much that's changed and how clean and clear it is now. You can walk down there safely. Yeah, the posts look awesome. Yeah, really cool. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. And as always, best wishes from us here. Cheers for now.